Hi, everyone. I want to add something to the videos that I recently made. And I said in those videos that uh, there's a problem with anxiety nowadays. A lot of people are anxious. And there's also something called adulting, which is seeking to avoid anxiety by going to an adult or to an adultier adult. But it all begins with being taught to look into our mind, into our thoughts for knowledge, looking for knowledge. We look at it in our brain. We look at it from people on the outside, so-called experts who look into their brain for knowledge, who look to other people, who tell them. See, so a long time goes by and somebody has an idea and they put it out there and they teach it to the next generation and the next and the next. And pretty soon everybody's going around saying this thing, but it's not right. And where does it come from? So the very process of looking to knowledge, it's Adam's sin. But when you look to knowledge instead of to intuition, see, intuition is what God gives us. It's how you know wordlessly. You just know. You just see. You can train a parrot to say 1 + 1 = 2. You can teach a child to memorize that 1 + 1 = 2. But the child can also see that 1 + 1 = 2. And seeing that principle, the child can then, when somebody says, what's 2001 plus or 2000? And 1 + 1, and the child can say 2002 because they understand the principle. They don't have to memorize each particular possibility. But anyway, all through life, you've been taught to look to knowledge for answers. Now, maybe knowledge is okay for fixing a tire or getting the best price on a set of earphones. I don't know. Might be good for that. Where's the nearest Walmart store located? You can look that up. But for living life, you need your intuition, which is a guide to lead you, see, moment by moment, each moment you live, you always have your intuition there so that you can delicately have it there. And you do one thing and another and another and another. And your intuition is leading you like a conductor is conducting a symphony orchestra, one note at a time. You take one step at a time, and you are led. Moses, long before he knew about God or anything, he had a keen sense of justice. He loved what was right. And somehow he did what he knew in his heart was right. That's it. He had he sort of knew, wordlessly, intuitively, a hunch, a realization. What do they say? Trust your hunches, trust your gut. He just sort of knew that he had to be with his people. And so he went out into the desert and he became a sheep herder for 40 years. And then God could use him, see? Einstein didn't do well in school. He was too smart. Some of the teachers hated him. He didn't like school. It cramped his style. And so he didn't do well. In fact, he dropped out of school. But what did he have? He had his intuition. And it was by intuition that he realized, that he saw, that he had flashes of insight. And in a lightning flash, he knew more than, 1,000 scientists had known for 1,000 years. It was his intuition. And it's from God. He gives us intuition. It's a guide. It's a protection. and it leads you to fulfillment. So the process of looking to knowledge, looking into your brain for facts, figures, and formulas, that very process has anxiety associated with it because we're setting aside intuition. We're reaching away from intuition to knowledge. Remember, that was Adam's sin. And so we somehow sense deep down that the answers that come to us from our own brain or from somebody else or in a textbook, we sense that something is missing, that sometimes they're wrong, that they're ill-timed. It makes us feel, what's the word? It makes us anxious. Decision-making. What should I do? I don't know. You have all these choices. I don't know. But your intuition knows if you sat back and just waited without anxiety. That's what it says that Paul tells us, doesn't he? He tells us to wait without anxiety upon God. If you just waited, then eventually you would know. The problem would solve itself. The answer would appear, the teacher would appear, or you would just suddenly know to go one way and not the other. Life can be so simple. But when you look to knowledge, somehow deep down you sense you don't know. So that's why some of us, we start second-guessing ourselves. Or we throw in the towel. It causes so much anxiety to try to figure out what to do and decide what to do. We let somebody else decide for us, but then they mislead you. See, their knowledge is imperfect. It's sometimes wrong. They're not standing in your shoes. What they tell you to do may have been good for them or for somebody else, but it might not be for you right now. And the timing is not perfect. See, timing is also important. Timing. So perfect knowledge, perfect timing come from intuition. And you don't have to decide. You just see. All the great entrepreneurs, the great explorers, great scientists, they were following their lodestar. And they saw and they realized, and it was just beautiful. So that's how you have to be. More spontaneous. All right? So what I was going to say then, we second guess ourselves. We think, well, I'm not sure if I should do this or that. So sometimes we decide one way and then we instantly do the opposite. Why? Because we have guilt associated with it, see? There's a little bit of guilt for not having faith, for not looking to God and to intuition, and for trying to play God, see? Which is what we're doing. So we feel uneasy about it. And so there's a little bit of guilt, and then we can misinterpret the guilt. We misinterpret the guilt, and it begins to feel scary, ominous. You see? Plus, sometimes we know, too, that speaking boldly, making prognostications, and boldly proclaiming what you're going to do or what's going to happen, those of us who are sensitive, we can sense something not right about that, so we shy away from it, which is good. But I think you can see then that if you always have your intuition with you, see, pure raw knowledge without understanding, which come from intuition. Look at the intellectuals. Often they don't have understanding. The letter of the law types. The letter of the law types. Could be you're married to someone like that. They don't have understanding, and all they have is judgment. And but deep down inside, they are what's the word to use? Very insecure, so they cling to their knowledge. because that's all they have to cling to now. That's all they have. So, intuition. See, so yeah, knowledge, okay, but always with intuition along with it, always understanding, always look to intuition and understanding first, and then let knowledge be a tool. I make a move, and then later, I see that it was the right move. At the time, I just moved delicately in that direction. All right? So, I think I've made my point that, that to the extent that you can be spontaneous, not get bogged down in thinking, bogged down in analyzing, not get bogged down in studying and trying to figure things out, just being more spontaneous, then that will take you'll feel better. Your load will be lighter, and you'll be less anxious, less nervous. And if you could learn to trust in the process. See, now you with great trepidation and fear and anxiety and nervousness, you try to figure things out and second guess and decide and choose, and then give up and let somebody else decide for you, and avoid responsibility that way and try to avoid anxiety. But then when you know that when they mess you up, then you'll see that that's not good either. So what are you going to do? You can't just hide and not do anything. So start to look to your intuition. You had it when you were a little child, and you fell away from it. So now you have to refine it. That's all. Refine it. Oh, and not only just refine it, but stay close to it. When you find yourself falling into some kind of mental quagmire, take a mental step back. Take a deep breath and see the blue sky and the puffy clouds and the leaves and the flowers. And you're back in the present again. You're back in the now again, instead of living in the past and scheming and planning for the future. All right?